All right, guys, let's jump right into it. Today, we're talking about building muscle.
Building muscle fast.
Exactly. You want to
Yeah.
see those gains, and you want to see them now, especially in that 18 to 25 age range when your body's primed for it. But
You got to do it right.
yeah, you don't want to waste your time with strategies that'll get you nowhere.
This podcast that you just saw took me 5 minutes to create using new AI tools from Google. These types of podcasts get millions and millions of views on YouTube. And if you also upload these to Spotify for podcasters, you can make $10 to $20 per 1,000 downloads. And I'll talk a little bit more about this further in the video. The craziest thing is that because they only take about 5 minutes to make per episode, if you really focus, you can make 30 or maybe even 50 of these per day. So today I'm going to show you how to create these podcasts and also several ways to make money with these podcasts. To make these, you need to go to Notebook LM, just go to this URL you see on the screen and click create a new notebook. After this, you can see that you're being asked to add sources. And for sources, you can use Google Docs, slides, you can provide a link to a website, a link to YouTube, or you can just copy and paste text. So let's say you wanted to make a podcast episode about best way to build muscle fast. You can just type that into Google and then find a website that you like. Let's say I want this website, Spartan.com, and you can provide this article as one of the sources for your podcast. Okay, so then let's just go here and say link website. I'm going to paste this URL, insert. You could then continue adding sources. So see where it says sources, you can just go plus and insert a YouTube link URL as well. For example, any of these videos, let's say you take this video over here, you can add that as a source. So you can add up to 50 sources for each podcast, and Notebook LM will analyze and it will use all of those sources to basically produce the podcast for you. After that, all you've got to do is just go here into audio overview, and you can see that you can go ahead and just generate this podcast now, and it will produce a podcast in the format of 2 hosts. You can also customize it. So if you want the podcast to focus on something specific, then you can give the commands here. For example, we can say aim the advice at males who are 18 to 25 years old, explain the most effective way for them to increase muscle mass quickly. And let's click generate. Now this is going to take a couple of minutes and it will produce the podcast for us. While this is getting ready, let's set up a template in Canva. So go to canva.com, just use the free account. That's more than enough. Click create a design. We'll go with the YouTube video size. And then here on the left-hand side, go into design and then type in podcast, and you can use any of these templates. Let's give this one a try. So I'm just going to drag and drop that over here. And then let's move a few of these things around. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to place this in the center. And then let's take one of these animated bouncy waveforms and we're going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, let's put that in the center over here. Now let's delete this one and we're going to move these stars perhaps to the bottom. Okay, and now let's add some photos. So let's go back to the elements and let's say podcast speaker, and then click on videos, and you can basically use any of these podcast speaker videos. If you don't have a paid plan, it's okay, because you can just go here and you can say you want only free videos that won't cost you anything to use. So let's take this over here as one of our speakers. All right, so I'm just going to make the size a little bit smaller and I'm going to crop her as well. So let's go ahead and use the cropping tool to adjust the size to be roughly a square like this. So this is going to work well for us over here. And let's take one more speaker, a male, and we'll put him on the right hand side. All right, so I'm going to use this guy. Actually, I'm going to swap them so they're kind of facing towards each other. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, roughly the same size. Now let's just add a frame design. So we're going to type in frame, go to all under elements, and then you can use any of these. So I'm just going to use this circular frame. So you just need to drag that over here, and then I'm going to drop this video into this circle. Okay, see, so now this has now been applied with a circular shape. I'm just going to do the same thing over here. It's going to grab this video, turn it into a circle, place that over here, and let's just now resize it again to make it roughly the same size. So perhaps something like this over here. And there we go. We've got our 2 speakers set up. And just like that, let's preview what it looks like. So I'm just going to click play, and you can see that it looks like they're kind of talking to each other. So this is going to flow super well with the audio that we're going to add now. All right, so look at this. We've got a 10-minute podcast episode that we can now download. So just go here and click download, then just go into uploads, audio, and then we're going to upload files and upload that episode that you just downloaded to your computer, upload that onto Canva. Once it's downloaded, let's just grab it, and you can drag that over here, adjust it to the very start. Now, as we know, our podcast is 10 minutes long, but our initial scene is only 20 seconds long. So we need to make this scene last the whole length of the podcast. All right, let's give this a quick preview. I'm very, very curious. So let's hit play.
All right, guys, let's jump right into it. Today, we're talking about building muscle.
Building muscle fast.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
want to see those games, and you want to see them now, especially in that 18 to 25 age range when your body's primed for it. But
You got to do it right.
yeah, you don't want to.
Guys, you can see this is actually kind of flowing together really, really well. It does honestly look like they're talking to each other, and somehow miraculously it even matches the timings. And you know, if it's a little bit off, no one's really gonna notice because people expect some kind of delays in audio with a podcast. All right, so now we can just assign a heading here. Maybe just go with white. Okay, so like this, we've now got this set up as the title for our podcast. I'm gonna click on this slide over here. I'm going to click duplicate. Okay, so let's now check if these two slides actually flow with each other.
We're diving deep into the science to give you the absolute best strategies.
From workout tweaks to dialing in your diet to make sure you're maximizing your gains.
Okay, this is really, really good. So all we've got to do now is we just need to duplicate this slide to take up the whole 10 minutes and 55 seconds of the podcast audio. So basically all I've got to do, I can just scroll here and keep clicking duplicate. You can zoom out just by clicking this to zoom out the timeline. Okay, I'm just going to make it smaller so that it makes it easier for me. And I'm going to continue clicking duplicate over here until I cover everything. Once I've got a few of them, I can just hold shift and I can select, let's say 3 of them. So that's going to give me about a minute each. And I'm just going to paste that over here, press Ctrl V. That will make it quicker. And then I can grab all of these and just basically continue doing this until I've got the whole timing. So we're at 7:08 now. So let's just do this one more time, 10:32. And you can now see the audio file actually is finished over here. Okay, so I'll position this just at the end and I'm going to remove this last slide because we don't need it. And I'm going to adjust the timing on this to end with the podcast. And now we're done. We've created a podcast. If you're curious how it's turned out, I'm gonna leave about a minute of this podcast at the end of this video. So now let's talk about monetization. So of course, the first way to monetize these podcasts is to upload them onto YouTube as a video, because a lot of people actually search for podcasts to listen to while they're driving in a car, for example. So see, if I start typing in podcast muscle, you will actually see that a lot of people are searching for podcast about muscle growth, podcast about muscle building, podcast about muscle up. And so you can research all of these topics and create podcasts about each of these topics that will be found through YouTube search. Now, look at this. I've just searched for podcast muscle growth and we've got Andrew Huberman. And look, he's got 6 million subscribers. This video has had 6 million views. So this is actually a podcast. And look how many subscribers he's got. Look how well his videos are doing. These are all podcasts and he's getting hundreds of thousands of views on each one. This could be you because you can now create high quality podcasts very, very quickly. Now, of course, YouTube will pay you ad revenue for your podcasts. The second way to monetize your podcast is through Spotify for podcasters. You can go to podcasts.spotify.com and then you can sign up and start uploading your episodes onto the platform. The good thing about it is that it will actually pay you ad revenue. Okay, so once you start earning, you can see earnings, ads, and subscriptions over here. So you can actually start getting regular ad revenue from anyone who listens to your podcasts. Ad revenue on Spotify is currently only available to the US, Canada, United Kingdom, and Australia. However, don't worry, if you're not from these countries, there are other ways to monetize your podcasts. When you are generating your podcast, let's say you're adding a website. Before you generate the audio, you can actually go and customize it. And when you're doing customization, you can actually give commands to the people in the podcast to mention different links and different resources. So we can write something like mention 4 times in the podcast that if they want a detailed guide about how to build muscle fast, they should go to the website www.gregsmuscleplan.com. And the presenters in the audio, they will keep referring to this website. They will do it as many times as you ask them to do. You obviously don't want to do it too much, but they will refer to it, and any podcast listeners will type in www.gregsmuscleplan.com. Now, this URL, you can just set up a website and redirect it as an affiliate link to promote someone else's product. You can collect your email leads. You can basically monetize it in any way you want. And of course, if you decide to go down the YouTube channel route, when the speakers mention that www.gregsmuscleplan.com, you can also insert it here as the resources into the description of the video so that anyone who is watching this or listening to it, they can always click on the description and then find your website. And this way you can make money from affiliate marketing, from email marketing, from anything you want. All right, so now I'm gonna play a little bit of this podcast so that you can check how it's working.
All right, guys, let's jump right into it. Today we're talking about building muscle.
Building muscle fast.
Exactly. You want to see those gains, and you want to see them now, especially in that 18 to 25 age range when your body's primed for it. But
You got to do it right.
yeah, you don't want to waste your time with strategies that'll get you nowhere. So
We're diving deep into the science to give you the absolute best strategies.
from workout tweaks to dialing in your diet to make sure you're maximizing your gains.
All right, guys, if you found this video useful and you thought this method was interesting, then I'd super appreciate it if you can smash the like button just below this video, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my future tutorials, and make sure to go ahead and watch this video next. In this video over here, I'm gonna show you a really cool way to use AI to make money. It's very, very new. No one's really doing it. So the opportunity is all yours. So go ahead and watch this one next. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.